It was a dark, moonless night when Emma drove down the winding road that led to Blackwood Hollow, a remote village buried deep in the forest and long forgotten by the modern world. The air was heavy, the silence unnatural, thick with a presence that felt almost sentient. Her car's headlights flickered for a moment as if struggling against the darkness itself. She had received a mysterious letter days ago, scrawled in jagged handwriting, summoning her to her grandmother's old cottage. Emma hadn't visited Blackwood in over 15 years, not since her parents had died in a fire that had razed half the village. As she pulled into the gravel driveway, the trees seemed to close in behind her, as if trapping her there. The cottage looked the same, abandoned but untouched by time. The front door creaked open on its own, revealing an interior cloaked in dust and shadow. Strange symbols had been etched into the floorboards, glowing faintly as if pulsing with life. The air smelled of old wood and something else, something metallic and decayed. Emma stepped inside cautiously, her footsteps muffled as though the house was swallowing sound. On the mantel above the cold fireplace was a photograph of her grandmother, her eyes scratched out. Next to it, an ancient book lay open, the pages filled with cryptic texts and drawings of twisted creatures with hollow eyes. Thunder rumbled in the distance, though the sky remained clear. That's when the whispers began, faint at first, like wind, but growing louder with each passing second, chanting her name. Emma turned abruptly, but no one was there. She tried calling out, her voice shaking, but the silence swallowed her words. The floor beneath her groaned, and suddenly she was no longer alone. From the corner of her eye, she saw a shadow move. A tall, hunched figure with no face stood at the end of the hallway. Its presence froze her blood, and before she could run, the lights died, plunging the house into darkness. Emma lit her phone's flashlight and backed away, only to find that the hallway had disappeared behind her. The layout of the cottage had changed. Doors led to brick walls, windows revealed only blackness, and the air grew colder by the second. Her phone buzzed violently. A single message appeared. "You should not have returned." Trembling, she dropped the phone, its light rolling across the floor to reveal a child's doll, its eyes bleeding black, its grin stitched into its face. Suddenly, the walls began to pulse like veins, and blood seeped from the cracks in the wood. The chanting returned, louder and more frenzied. Emma screamed, bolting through the house in search of an exit, but each door led her deeper into the house. It was as though the cottage was alive, feeding off her fear. In one room, she found a mirror. Her reflection didn't mimic her movements. It stared at her, eyes wide with terror, before raising its hand and pointing behind her. Emma turned slowly, her breath hitching. The faceless figure stood inches away, its cold hand reaching for her. She ran, but her legs felt heavy, as if dragging through water. The house laughed, a deep, guttural sound that shook the walls. She finally found the basement door, flinging it open and descending into darkness. The basement was lined with rows of old photographs, all of people who once lived in Blackwood, their faces distorted and twisted in agony. In the center of the room was an altar, and on it, her name had been carved in fresh blood. Her grandmother's journal lay nearby, detailing how the villagers had made a pact with something ancient, something that now demanded her as payment. Emma tried to escape, but the basement door slammed shut above her, locking her in. The whispers became screams. The faceless figure stepped out of the shadows, joined by others, hollow-eyed children, twisted souls, all clawing their way toward her.